What up? What's going on? Real quick here. Uh, we've already went through some things yesterday. Um, I do want to show you something here from football. We have been, we have been using this tool all year long, and that's okay. That's a great thing there. Uh, we got a pretty big sample size from this tool right now. Game day insights. So as you can see right here, you can catch this gamedayinsights.com. Let me get this shared up real fast on Facebook real quick. So let's see here. Mm. And I just want to show you guys a couple things here, right? Now get in and get out. People can take a look at this or how they want to do it. But some of us, most of us, a lot of us are already pretty much familiar with this tool, right? So 1 second here, and I'll just go through my motions and I'll get out of here. Okay. So I'll just go through my motions. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now. But we went through some early lines yesterday, and it's a few early lines that's already out. And it's Thursday. I suggest you get to it. I'll probably do a YouTube short, something of that nature, and just blam off some picks because we went through some picks yesterday. Early lines are major key. You can compare the lines from yesterday to today. They stay moving, right? And we got more. So I've been I've been looking for Marvin Harrison. You guys already know that, so I can't find anything across the industry significant regard to his yardage, or anything like that. But it is what it is. What I'm here for is just to go over the tool for NFL purposes, right? So, the schedule. What you're looking at right here is the schedule page, right? So we have a bigger sample size of what we got going on. If you've been rocking with me, we already know how to navigate the site. If not, that's why we're here. I usually start looking into it week 4-ish, 5-ish, just to see where everything's at. And even all the way up to week 6, we still probably don't know who these teams are, who they could be, things of that nature. So next, right? So this is, like I said, this is the schedule, what network, all that good stuff, right? So it is what it is with that situation. Week 4, da da da. Right. So not one of the pages I'll be looking at most of the time. Player game logs. Bang. That's when you want to look at some game logs, things of that nature. If you want to use this tool, you can look at some game logs here. 2024, I have that highlighted for the season. If I just want to select a specific week, I can select the specific week right here. Okay, I can unselect that, select all. Don't really have, I can't select all. You can use this in certain instances. You can push select all and then just click 2, and it's like week 1 and 3, things of that nature. Otherwise, just leave 2024 selected, and you'll have 2024s right here. Individual, you want to go to the teams, or let's say quarterbacks, you want to just go to Rodgers. There's his game log right there. Each one of his games, bang, bang, bang. Completion percentage, yard per attempt, air yards, touchdowns, interceptions, right? Glossary or the key or whatever you want to call it, bang, we down here. Air yards, all that. A dot, average depth, target. So if you need a explanation of what these numbers and things like that mean, it's right here for you. It's right there, right? So you can do this for each and every player, fullbacks, the teams, or whatever the case may be. So let's say we go with So that was this is teams, this is quarterbacks, whatever the case may be. You can go to the Jets since we got Aaron Rodgers up there. Let's just go to the Jets. Right. So we can go to the Giants. Right. I mean, yeah, the Giants. Take this down. Take Aaron Rodgers down. We can just go to the Giants. They'll show. I guess they'll show whatever quarterback's been there. So on and so forth. Then we can look at the teams. Teams and the ball carriers. Fullback, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and like I said, this will be the game log section. This is the game log section right here, right? Game logs, what they've been done. You want to look at some game logs, you can look at this section. You want to look at some wide receivers, what they've done. You can go to anybody. You can search anybody. First, somebody who's played. Let's look at Amari Cooper. Okay, so bang, 12 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets, receptions, 7-3, 2 yards, bang, bang, bang. This is where we jumped on him last week. We jumped on him, 2 touchdowns. We already that was a good read there by me, and I was all over that read. Okay, so that's just your game logs. Now, defense versus position. Okay, uh, this is a popular section here, right? So a lot of people like to use this. You got defense versus the pass, defense versus the run. You also have defense versus pass catchers. Okay, so defense versus the pass. I guess what? Yeah, what? So this is overall right here. Overall, defenses versus pass overall. Attempts. You can see who's doing what right now. And then you can look at other teams and see who they played and stuff like that. But you got Minnesota, Baltimore. We know Baltimore has been giving it up a little bit, right? So attempts, right? Completions, 26. They in the red, right? 315 yards. You know what I'm saying? You can track their progress throughout the season, week by week. 1, 2, 3. You can do it however you want to do. You can filter each column. Completions, New England, Baltimore, Minnesota, Tampa Bay. Yardage, Baltimore at the top. Minnesota, Washington, Jacksonville. Yards per attempt, touchdowns. Interesting. Uh, versus the pass, Washington 9 touchdowns, right? So bang, Washington got 9 touchdowns versus the pass. Who are they coming to, right? So we've been picking on Washington each and every week. That's why at the beginning of the video I wouldn't check Marvin Harrison. I'm looking for Marvin Harrison. I'm looking for these receivers. Why am I looking for the receivers? Because Washington, 9 touchdowns, 2 more than any other team this year. Where are they going to since they're passing? Is it the running backs? Are they the running backs? Washington? No, right? Like Washington running backs probably at the bottom of the barrel. See? No, right? 0. Well, we're looking for the tight ends. What about the tight end, man? Is Washington giving up touchdowns to the tight ends? Look at the bottom. Let's see. Yes. No. Tight ends. I'm sorry. No. So we go down here to the bottom of the barrel and look for them. They down here. No, they're not. Well, who they gave up 9 touchdowns to through the air? They gave them up to the wide receivers. That's why I'm looking at for Washington. They got 3 more. That's why I'm looking for Marvin Harrison and possibly I forget his name. I think his name is Wilson on the other side. Either one of those guys do need. Why we're not seeing a lot of lines because we don't know the status of McBride right now, but he's a guy that's always going to be on my radar. Any wide receiver versus this Washington team. So that's this. It's like a prime example of how and you can use this tool. So touchdowns, blitzes. I'll incorporate that at some point, during the season. Then defense versus the run, right? So we got somebody like tonight, Daniel Jones. He'll be somebody that'll be out there. You can look at how these teams are doing versus the quarterback attempts here. So Atlanta got a lot of attempts there. Atlanta is giving up 53 yards, right? The most right now, right? Yards per carry. Houston, Buffalo, Detroit, the Jets. Red zone attempts by the quarterback. Go back and see who they played. They're giving up 3, right? Touchdowns to the quarterback, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is giving up. Tampa Bay kept popping up in this category, some shape, form, or fashion. 3 touchdowns to Tampa to the quarterback position from Tampa Bay. So that's something that you can look at in the near future. Rewind it back. Excuse me. Defensive versus run for the running back here. Unfiltered the quarterback, and we can look at Indianapolis. They they got one of the worst defenses versus run, and the Chicago Bears, they couldn't even take advantage of it last week. But 33 attempts to yardage, number one in yardage. Then you got some other guys down here. You got Indianapolis to the running back, Los Angeles Rams. This should be the Rams. This should be Vegas, Dallas. Dallas been getting gashed. They play tonight. Carolina, yards per carry. Vegas, Dallas, Giants, over the course of the last 3 games, Philly, Washington, whatever the case may be. Red zone attempts, Atlanta, Los Angeles, touchdowns here, rushing touchdowns. Dallas got 6, they got the most. Miami got 5, Carolina, Chicago, okay? So, then you want to look at the receivers there we can look at this is receivers with the run, right? So not really want to look at that right now. Defense versus pass catchers. And like I was saying, you want to look at who's giving up a lot of targets to the running backs. Tampa Bay, the Chargers, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Buffalo. Receptions in general, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay in this running, like I've noticed, Tampa Bay, they got a few. What was that? Was it the running touchdown for the quarterback? I don't know, but a few receptions there. Receptions 8. Yardage is significant. 70 yards right there. That's something to look at. Then you got air yards and stuff like that. So, I really look at those for wide receivers. Red zone targets here. And then you got touchdowns, right? So Tennessee is giving up 3 touchdowns to the running back. Okay. So, tight ends. Coming into week 3, that was week 2, Kansas City still was flashing, right? They still was flashing. And I attacked it wrong, right? I went with Kyle Pitts for his receiving receptions when I should have went for yardage, right? So even Kansas City was already red coming into week 2, right? So they even more red right now because right now they are targets. I guess they're getting heavily targeted to the tight end position. The receptions they're leading the way in receptions, yardage as well. Pitts did catch like a 40-something or 50-yarder versus them. Remember that? Yards per catch, that kind of bolstered their yards per catch. But right now, overall, you got Arizona, New Orleans, Kansas City. They giving up a pretty these teams right here, all in the red, are giving up 2 more catches, about 2 more catches. 2 more yards per catch than the last one, the next one, which would be the Giants and Dallas. So those 2 teams play tonight. They giving about the same to the tight ends, 10.62, 10.6. And, Dallas tight end is very well in play. I forget his name. He's one of the heavily targeted guys on this team. So, that's something that you can look at. Okay. So air yards, of course, Baltimore and Dallas gashed them in the tight end section. Baltimore, and then like I said, Kansas City was already green coming out of week 2, and Pitts did have a nice long pass going up against them guys. Reception. Touchdowns here to the tight end position here. Two for Carolina, one for everybody else, none for the rest of these folks. But these are just some things that you can look at there. Even if you're looking at the wide receivers and stuff like that, they got their targets right here: Detroit, Minnesota. A lot of this stuff is contingent on game flow. Some teams are losing, so you got to pass more. You got to take all that into consideration. Receptions: New England, Minnesota, Detroit, Baltimore. Yardage: Baltimore, Minnesota, Rams, yards per catch. Los Angeles Rams. Oops, let me take this tight end down. I'm sorry. Go back. Let me go back through it because I had tight end up there. Targets: Detroit, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, New England. Receptions: Detroit, New England, Minnesota, Tampa Bay. Yardage: Detroit, Minnesota, Washington, San Francisco, LA. Yards per catch: San Francisco, LA, Pittsburgh, Philly. But make sure you look into a lot of these attempts and targets and stuff like that. Pittsburgh, they've probably been getting hit for a chunk here and there. Receptions are down and targets are down. So, something you want to look at because Pittsburgh is a team that does condense the whole game while using their running game. So, things like that. Air yards, teams that are getting thrown deep on, stuff like that. Minnesota, Washington, LA, Indianapolis, Detroit. Red zone targets. Teams that's moving the ball, getting in the red zone and throwing it versus these teams. Kansas City, Washington, Minnesota, whatever. Touchdowns versus these teams. We already know Washington's at the top, but then you got the Rams, then you got Carolina and Philly. All four of these teams got 5 touchdowns or more throughout the air. Remember, Philly was a team that I did want to target coming from the 2023 season, and a lot of that stuff you can monitor their progress from week to week, right? I can even filter it from last year, compare the numbers, and see what's been going on. Like Washington, for instance. Let's take a look at that. Since I always say I want to carry it over from 2023 to 2024, let's see how they fare. Through 3 games, Washington right now has given up 9 touchdowns to receivers. Let's go to 2023 through week 3, and let's see what they do, right? So Washington has given up 4. The Chargers has given up 6. Denver, Philly is on par. Philly's given up 4 or 5 touchdowns this year to receivers, and they continue to do the same thing, right? Over the course of the full season, Philly, let's see. Over the course of the full season, we'll see how it ended. This was last year. How it ended, Washington gave up 29 touchdowns to the wide receiver spot. Philadelphia gave up 27 to the receiver spot. And right now, Washington is on pace to crush that number, right? To crush that number. If they've given up 9 touchdowns in 3 weeks, if they continue that pace, they're aligned to crush that number. What's up, Tiffany? How you doing, girl? So that's one way you can look at. You can utilize this target. I mean this tool. Now you can look at coverage stats. Something that I got to get better on. Maybe we can have a session here, and maybe we all can help out and figure it out. But no, not this tool, but I'll get to it. But I think it's route tree and stuff like that. But comparing man versus zone completions, seeing what these teams do, who's better in zone, who gets gashed in zone, who gets gashed in man, seeing how these teams fair where they defending man and zone and stuff like that. So zone percentage. Teams running the highest amount of zone percentage right now would probably be the Colts, right? So this is the percentage they run in it, and this is the percentage they run in completion. They getting completions, right? 67% versus the zone, And then versus man for this team, this coach team, 10%. They running at 10% and giving up almost 60% completion rate, right? So, instance, let's take a look at um, let's take a look at the Cowboys, right? So the Cowboys, they run in zone 61% of the time so far with a 65% zone completion rate. And then man 38% of the time with a 52% completion rate, I guess, right? So you could also just like you compare that up. Like let's say let's go for man, right? No, let's go for man. Yeah, so let's go for man, right? So Cowboys 52% man, right? So let's go to the Giants, right? And let's look at the wide receivers, okay? So versus man, okay? So we got Slayton doing 41 routes versus man. Uh, um, this is yards per route run right here. This is targets per route run, and this is air yards. So, yards per route run, we're looking at Malik Neighbors, right? Route run, it's all probably broken down. He 44 routes ran, and it's probably all broken down, divided, whatever the case may be, to 5.5 yards per route run. Going, I mean, in versus man, right? So, knowing what these defenses run and how they fare versus that, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they run, and can help you figure out, what and how you want to, bet on these players. Targets per route run and air yards, right? So Malik Neighbors is definitely a heavily targeted guy. But you got Wan'Dale Robinson right there. Another guy that if you think they could, try to neutralize somebody like Malik Neighbors, his target share should go up, or whatever the case may be. Wan'Dale Robinson. Now, bringing it back here, we can go zone, right? We can go zone. You go man and zone, whatever the case may be with that. So zone, so you got Darius Slayton, 66 routes, Hyatt, 17 routes, Neighbors, 77, and then Wan'Dale Robinson, 57 versus zone. Now, they a little bit closer to the same with yards versus per route run and targets per route run, and then air yards or whatever, so on and so forth, right? Darius Slayton versus zone. Interesting. It's interesting here. Interesting. So, you can look at these guys, man versus zone, stuff like that, and just kind of like mix things up if you want, right? So it's a lot. You could even go the wide receivers, the whole league, right? Around St. Brown versus zone, and see who the best wide receivers are versus zone, like yards per route run, right? So these, we can go with the highest routes, and then so yards per route run. So some of these guys just don't qualify, like two and all that shit, but Shaheed, he's a big time deep threat there. 41 routes. Chris Godwin, we know he qualifies really, really good. Olave, Shakir, the usual suspects, right? Targets per route run, at zone, or whatever case may be. Or you can just take it off man and zone, and you can just go target per route run overall, right? So if you filter it like that, just in general, without no zone or no man or whatever case may be, just pure routes and stuff like that, these are the routes share leaders. I want to say yards per route run. A lot of these guys don't qualify. Some of these guys do. These eights, the sixes, and these ones, they're not qualifying, things like that. But Justin Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Olave, there's the usual suspects. They all coming in hot right now. So, it is what it is. Air yards, you're going to get some guys that qualify. You're going to get a lot of them that don't. Uh, you see George Pickens is up there, but he don't have a lot of routes because they run the ball a lot, condense the game. You know what I'm saying? So these are ways that you can look at other things there, right? So that was that. Let's go to the next. Let's see, coverage stats, defense versus resistance, coverage stats. No, this is coverage stats. 100 yard games allowed. You can look at that. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You got the defense, the rushers, and then you got the defense, and then you got the receivers. So the Rams, 300-yard rushers. Receivers. They're leading the way. They play my Chicago Bears this week. So we might get you might get you might get a DJ Moore game here or something like that, and we'll get into that like right away, right? So QB reads. Haven't really looked at this QB reads or whatever the case may be, but this is very helpful for people who like to dive into routes, play direction, and route tree. You see deep left, deep middle, deep right, short left, short middle, short right. If you know when a receiver or something like that, they don't move they don't move around. They stay on their side of the field. If they're a short guy, if they're a deep guy, then you can mix it all up, and and you can look inside the 20, inside the 10. When the quarterback was blitzed, yes or no, it's a lot. If you got a team that got a nice offensive line, they can be blitzed, or just you can click this just to let them know, let the model know that hey, he's a quarterback that's got time. You know what I'm saying? Versus a quarterback that doesn't have time. You can go blitz. You can go. If you're looking at Caleb Williams that gets blitzed a lot because he's a rookie, whatever the case may be, you can look at things like that. You can jam that in. Then inside the 10 and inside the 20, how these guys fare, that helps out with touchdowns, the targets in that area. You want to know where the ball is going inside the 20, inside the 10, stuff like that. So, then you got the route tree, the comebacks, the cross, the flats, the ends, the post, underneath screen, wide receiver screen, slant, out, go, curl, corner, stuff like that, right? So it's a lot of different ways that you can, look at things. You got your yards, attempts, yards per attempts, completions, completion percentage, air yards, average depth of target, and touchdowns, right? So let's take a look. Let's say blitzed. Let's just say blitzed, right? Just blitzed, not inside the 20, outside the 10. Yards blitzed. And you can go down to the bottom down here and look at yards, the reverse way. Or I can just click this and reverse it and just start to look at, Tua. He's Trevor Lawrence, 127 yards blitzed. Dave Jones, 128. Josh Allen, 882. You can look at it both ways. Attempts there. Who's got the most attempts? Who's getting wild blitzed or whatever the case may be. So, all that. Let me see something. Caleb Williams will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Because half of the time his ass is getting sacked. But either way I go, yeah, that's, you can look at that. Bringing it back here, what was this? QB reads, route tree. Take a look at the route tree here. Pass catches route tree right here. And defensive stats versus routes. Okay. So, same thing. inside the 20, inside the 10, blitzed. You can look inside the 10. Let's go inside the 10, right? Let's go inside the 10. We in the red zone here, right? We're looking at who's targeted in the red zone. We're looking at touchdowns here, right? We're looking for touchdowns. We just want a little bit of data, right? We just want to look at something. Targets, Deontay Johnson, who's being on my fantasy team, going to start his ass in the slot, right, this week, rather. 5 targets, average depth of targets 360 in the red, inside the 10. 1 completion, 1 touchdown, right? 5 targets. He's leading the way in red zone targets. Andre, he was getting touchdowns, man. In the absence of the boy name, T. Higgins, he was getting touchdowns, right? Defenses were trying him, and he was showing up. Now, instead of this being him, that'll be T. Higgins, right? So something to keep in mind here. Average depth of targets, I don't want to look at that inside the 10. Not even worried about that. Completions inside the 10, Kittle, whatever the case may be, small sample size. Completion percentage inside the 10. Every time you throw it to Kittle is good. It is what it is, right? This is just inside the 10, so it's going to be a smaller sample size, right? Yards, air yards, touchdowns. Let's look at touchdowns. This kid here, and then you got Godwin, Malik Neighbors, Alan Lazard, Jalen Naylor, right? One of the most fun things to do is live bet the NFL, bro. That shit is so fun, right? So at the end of the day, oh man, my phone should be plugged up, right? Damn. Let me plug my phone up. Because I'm getting ready to go to work. It don't even matter. I'll be sitting at my desk researching any damn way. But let me. One of the most fun things to do is research. Is to live bet NFL, next drive, things like that. It's so lit, right? But when you get down there to the red zone and stuff like that, it's important to know who the targets are. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So this is it. This is only inside the 10. You can go inside the 20 as well. I can go inside the 20 and take the 10 off and just go inside the 20, and we can look at targets there, right? She said, I'm doing this 3 weeks post. I had a follow up. Okay. Super talent, but getting this knowledge. I'm fine. My knee been killing me, but I'm good now. I'm getting better. Actually, I'm getting better. Inside the 20, pretty much something like the same. I ain't gonna say the same, but the usual suspects. Targets here: Cortland Sutton, Drake London, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Irwin, Malik Neighbors, Wandale Robinson. The usual suspects are getting targeted. Aaron Jones is interesting, right? He's got 5 targets. This is inside the 20. That's showing you how involved he is. I didn't even know it was your birthday, man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Tim. I didn't even know that. I'm going to tweet you too. I'm definitely going to tweet you. So yeah, these are a lot of ways to, look at things. You know what I'm saying? And then if you just want to look at numbers in general, that's not in outside the 10 or whatever the case may be. So you're looking at targets here, just in general here. Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari Cooper, Rashee Rice, Moore, Nico Collins, Devontae Smith, Cortland Sutton, and the list goes on, right? For targets, average depth of targets, this can get screwed up because there's a lot of people, games played, targets, this is all over the place, right? I should have been a way that I can say filter it for 21st. Oh yeah, my baby's on the 2nd. Now, my daughter's on the second. Yeah. But damn, 21st. It was the 21st, girl. I know you had a ball. Um, so yeah, at the end of the day, that's how we looking, right? That's how we looking. Touchdowns, just all over the field, just same old style, same old song. The defense versus routes. If you just want to, play with the routes and stuff like that, the route tree and the route, this is for you, right? You got go routes, corner routes, curls, whatever the case may be, right? You can just filter this and just have yourself a ball, right? Next would be rushing production. Okay, so um, taking a look, taking a look at the rushing production here. You got Saquon Barkley, inside the 20, same thing, right? With the passing and things like that. Inside the 20, inside the 10, position, the quarterbacks, the running backs, things of that nature, right? So if we wanted to look at just yardage in general, we see right now we got Barkley, Mason, Dobbins, Kamara, whatever the case may be. Inside the 20, yardage here, we have Saquon Barkley, Kyrie Williams, whatever the case may be with that as well. Touchdowns, just in general, you can look at it. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Kyrie Williams, and Alvin Kamara. These boys got good touchdowns here. Attempts here. Jordan Mason Jacobs, the usual suspects right here. Yards after contact, right? Meaning after somebody touched them, they keep on trucking, right? Derrick Henry, Dobbins, Mason, Ramondre, whatever the case may be. Yards before contact. Saquon Barkley, he's eluding people, right? Jonathan Taylor and things of that nature, right? Lamar Jackson, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is with that situation right there. You could go position by position. You're looking at running quarterbacks. We can look at attempts here. Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, Bo Nix, Josh Allen. The yardage there, right? So, there's the yardage. These are for quarterbacks. The touchdowns, right? Jaden Daniels got 3. Allen 2, Nix 2, and then yards after yards before, whatever the case may be. You can look at inside the 20, inside the 10. You can look at that. Running back, I'm not even going to go towards it, right? Defenses versus the run, inside the 20, inside the 10, the quarterback, the wide receiver, the fullback, the running back, right? Touchdowns allowed, all of that good stuff, right? So that's right there for you. And I want to say, last but not least, we're looking at explosive plays here. Explosive plays are, let me see. Let me text her. About to hit you in about 5 to 6 minutes, because I'm almost done with it. Okay, now explosive plays 15 yards plus. Then right here you have the 20 yards plus, 30 yards plus, 40 yards plus, 50 yards plus. Now they have this is rushing explosive plays. Rushing play direction. If you enter the left, the right, knowing weaknesses on the line. I'm here for night. I'm taking a nap. Okay. Peace. All right. Peace out. Peace. Get you some sleep. This is directions, just in case you know which the weaknesses on the lines and stuff like that, and the way the teams like to run. Right. Then you got receiving explosive plays, 20 yards or better, 30, 40, 50. Right. Rushing explosive yards plays allowed. This is defensive. Defensive. These are players, and then we get into the defensive section as far as defenses allowing these plays, right? and where they're allowing him at when it's come to rushing, right guard, left guard, up the middle, whatever the case may be, and then through the air, deep left, deep middle. If you know the routes and stuff like that, you can compare things and figure it out, right? So, example, looking at the players here, explosive plays, 15 yards or more. First of all, you got Jonathan Taylor. He has 53 attempts, almost 5 yards per carry. Yards before contact, 202. After, 59. Then you also have 20 plus yards. Rushes, 3. So you can filter it by attempts if you want. You can filter by yards per carry. And, a lot of that's going to be, so yards before contact, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Mason Jackson, whatever. Jacobs, yards after contact, J.K. Dobbins, Henry, Stevenson, Montgomery, whatever, right? 20 plus yard gainers, Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins. So you can look at the longest reception, the longest run, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Then 30 yards plus. Dobbins with 3. Ryan Robinson Jr., Bucky Irvin, whatever the case may be with that. 40 yards plus. Dobbins got 3. The rest of the competition's got 1. Dobbins also has a 50-yarder. And Saquon Barkley has a 50-yarder plus as well. Explosive plays for receivers. Explosive plays, 20 plus yards in general. Malik Neighbors got 6 of them. He plays tonight. Dallas Goedert's got 5. Juwan Jennings has 5. Nico 5. Bowers 4. Mooney, whatever the case may be. The list goes on. Explosive targets, right? So targets I think are 20 yards or better. Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm definitely patiently waiting on his lines. I got his shit right here. I can refresh this shit right now because I'm waiting on some passing lines for him, right? They are some reception lines. And right now, all we have out is touchdowns, first quarter touchdowns, first half touchdowns, second half touchdowns. Going up against that Washington, I'm gonna end up betting multiple though. He's gonna be the number 1 guy, of course. I'm gonna end up betting multiple though. But back where we were. When I say I'm going to end up betting multiple, that's going to be meaning multiple receivers. I'm going to bet the both receivers there, him and the number 2 receiver. I think his name Wilson or something like that, but I'm going to bet him too. Explosive plays, 3 for Marvin Harrison targets. These are guys that are targeted, I want to say 20 yards or better. Cooper, Riley, Neighbors, Nico, Odunze, things like that. These are candidates for the longest reception of the game or 20-something yards or more. You know how they do that. Air yards, average depth of target, 30 yards plus plays. Pierce, CD, Goddard, Williams, Juwan Jennings, 40 plus plays, 40 plus yard plays. Pierce, and he's got 3 of them. Interesting. And then 50 plus yards plays. Pierce got 2. DK, Metcalf, Jamison Williams got Jets, right? So it is what it is. And then explosive rushing plays, same old thing, right? Defense is allowing that, right? A defense is allowing explosive receiving plays, right? So defense allowing explosive rushing plays. Just look at the explosive rushing plays. Defenses, Buccaneers have allowed 8. Eagles allowed 8. Colts 7, 6. Commanders, Cowboys, whatever the case may be. 20 plus yard runs go to the Titans, Buccaneers, Rams, and so on and so forth. 50 yard runs, Raiders. 40 yard runs, Raiders got 2. Okay. Oh no, these are. I'm sorry. Those are. Oh yeah. Then the receiving explosive plays, defenses, Ravens, right? Receiving plays. So the Ravens gave up 16. That's 20 yards or more, right? And the targets here, explosive play targets. This is like the Browns. Like quarterbacks are going in there throwing 20 yards or better versus the Browns. Like they targeting the Browns. The Colts next in line: Eagles, Saints, Lions, Rams, Texas. You know, you know, air yards there. Leaders: the Saints, Colts. This is they defense are leading in air yards and average depth per target. The Rams, Colts, Saints, Browns, Texas, Lions, 30 plus plays, 30 yards plus. The Rams, right? So I'm thinking maybe a DJ Moore. Somebody's gonna get hit deep in this Bears game coming up. Chiefs, they got 5. Probably 2 of those were to tight ends. So that's something to take a look at there. 40 plus yard plays. The Chiefs, Colts, Cowboys, Saints, Texans, and 50 plus yard plays. Damn, Cowboys got 350 plus yard completions on them. The Texans got 3. Damn. And then last but not least, we got the red zone, right? So, looking at the red zone here, this is another way you can look at touchdowns and things of that nature, right? Overall, on 2024, you compare for 2023, see how things are going, right? Targets, got to filter the targets already. Cortland Sutton, always been a red zone target, even from last year, right? Drake London, next, he's getting targeted in the end zone. He's about 6'4", 6'5". Deontay Johnson, he's a guy that's elusive. He's always been, a great route runner. He's getting targeted in the end zone. So those are some of the heavily targeted guys right there. Wan'Dale Robinson. They play tonight, right? Both of these guys, when he's throwing it looks like he's throwing it to one of these 2 guys, right? One of these 2 guys. Completions, Drake London in the red zone, catches in the red zone. He's targeted 6 times, 5 completions for 2 touchdowns. Commit in the red zone, 4 targets, 4 completions, 100%. That's he's 4 for 4 with a touchdown in the red zone. Garrett Wilson, 4 for 5 with a touchdown. Amon Ra, 4 for 5 with a touchdown. The list goes on and on, just like that, right? Red zone rushing stats. Kyron Williams, attempts 17 yards, 49, 4 touchdowns in the red zone. You can filter to yards. Saquon Barkley, 53 yards in the red zone, 15 attempts for 3 touchdowns. Jordan Mason, the list goes on and on, right? Touchdowns overall in the red zone for the receivers. Williams 4, Kamara 4, Daniels. Daniels get down in the red zone. He smells the end zone. He's going for it, right? Saquon Barkley, one of your good parlays here so far, David Montgomery and Derrick Henry. Those 2 guys, 2 running backs you can really look at for a touchdown when you're getting down there in the end zone. The way this Rams team is constructed as of right now, with all the injuries, Kyron Williams is another guy you can look at in the touchdown category down there in the end zone, right? But one of those money shots will probably be Derrick Henry and David Montgomery, putting those guys both together for plus money. Teams that can move the ball and can get down there and know their roles when they get down there, right? Saquon Barkley's entered the conversation, especially with AJ Brown out. So, this is a decent little 3-leg here. The Barkley, Montgomery, and Henry. So, it is what it is. And that just about wraps it up. That's an overview of how you can use this tool. It's many, many, many more ways to use this tool. People are going to use this tool in, the way they want to use this tool. But like I said, we've been using it for MLB all year, and we've been using it for, I'm just gravitating to it because I like to get some data. And, it is what it is, guys. So that's it right there in a nutshell. We got more plays coming out. I'll probably come back tomorrow or late tonight and drop another video about more plays that I'm sprinkling on. I do want to take a look and see what the passing yards was for Caleb. How has it moved or whatever the case may be. I think I got it at 220. Caleb Williams, I got it at 220. Where is it right now? 224. So yeah. So let me see something here. Caleb Williams. Let's see. Caleb. Clear these two filters here. I think Caleb Williams is going to crush his yardage prop. Yeah, I expect Keenan Allen to be back from injury. We'll see what's going to happen. Caleb, I want to see where it opened up because I forgot where I got it. I think I got it 220. 220. So it opened at 217 and a half. And it's all the way up to 223. That's why it's very important. It's very important to get these early lines. You got to get these earlier lines. Earlier lines, you got to get them. You know what I'm saying? When they drop them lines, you got to get on those lines. Well, you got to get on them. Right? And it's all the way up almost 6, 7 yards now. You know? But that also helps out with your ladder. Like, I think, it's a possibility. I don't know how it's gonna work. It's a possibility, you can take him for 250. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So it is what it is. But that was just I ain't gonna say outlier, but you want to catch this type of value. If you think he's gonna have a good game, you want to catch this type of value because he does have the weapons to throw to. I expect Keenan Allen to be back. You know what I'm saying? So uh, that's another weapon, another seasoned route runner. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I just want to show you guys this tool and peace out, right? Peace.